to wives. The heart leaves up to behold these golden days.
Today is for Carol, and Carol, the other Carol, and the woman who looks like Cousin Oliver from the Brady Bunch. Yo, it's a special episode of Reality Gaze / Poodle's Corner / Confessions.
Ça, dis-moi.
Dis-moi. There's always that long saxophone too. It's like wow, 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 and it gets dirtier and dirtier. Oh, I remember those days. Y'all, with me is a special guest. I'm so excited about this. From Blighty Day Fiance, Michelle is here to talk about this Seeking Sister Wife. She is the Seeking Sister Wife finale. She is an aficionado of the show. And
Thank you so much. I'm a super fan. Thank you so much. I am delighted to be here. I couldn't be more excited. As I announced on Twitter earlier, you and I, Poodle, are taking a step that we never thought we would take. We are committing to recapping this finale.
We are committing to one another to recap this finale. And kind of, this was like Leah Michelle in Funny Girl, this was inevitable. There wasn't a choice for me to talk about this show. I've been watching this mess since season 1, and last season came close to being cringe, like that kind of cringe where your teeth hurt. But this season had a special sauce to it that I could not stop watching. It was a special kind of television, and it completely ensnared so many of our regular viewers in its reach.
Yes, it was absolutely unexpected. I think quite a few of us binged Seeking Sister Wife, the earlier seasons,
right,
or series as we call them here in the UK, during the pandemic. I came into it a lot later. I did not think that I was going to like it, and as you say, like so many others, I was drawn to it inexplicably. I would wake in the night having fever dreams about where Roberta could be.
Yes. Boy, what is Roberta? Who is Roberta? What is a Roberta? Like, who is this person? That's what I'm left with. Could we have missed her mystique or glamour, mystique, for this long now? And she completed this con. I'm so proud of her.
I am too. That's the thing. I could not be happier for her. And I say that even as I watched a woman, and I'm going to get dark for a second. I have seen parents bury their child, and they were not this emotional.
Okay.
And this was in front of her son. Her son.
No, the princes. The princes.
The princes.
What about the princes?
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Why is one of the princes named Jeremiah, but it's spelled with a G and it's not pronounced Jeremiah?
No, I've called him Jeremiah ever when it started. Yeah, don't worry. That did not escape my attention. It has bothered me from moment one, because that is not how we spell hard G's or a soft G in this country. It's just not what we do. It would be Jeremiah. It would be Jeremiah.
Because and
if I met him, I would not call him Jeremiah, because that's just not right.
Well, then you'd have to call Garrick Jarek.
Somehow that fits better,
I think it
Jarek.
does too. I think it does too. But man, I kid you not, when I'm thinking back on it and reflecting, as I have done for the past however long it's been since it's aired, I have thought back to those moments with Roberta and her mother, and
Yes.
I'm like, was there a Chinatown moment there? Was there a "she's my sister" slap, "she's my daughter" slap, "she's my sister" slap, "she's my daughter"? I think they're
Had
in
to be.
cahoots, right?
Oh, totally in cahoots. And what happened right after she sent the text message to Garrick, she put on sunglasses and got in a car, and so did her mother. And it was like a moment from The Last Seduction, the Linda Fiorentino movie, where the trumpet goes, and they get in the car, and she's like, "Well, Mom, it's off to more marks now." And I'm like, "What's your disease this time, Mom? Bad leg? Diabetes? Lung cancer? You can play anything."
And we can always count on God to drive you there. That
Okay, this whole shit, when she said, "Well, God's probably trying to make us realize that everybody makes mistakes," and I expected God to go, "Don't bring me into this, bitch.
that
You're
is the
an
one.
idiot."
Right? That is one thing among many, many things that I can't get my head around. I I half expect God to jump out, as Danielle is going, "And God died on the cross for our sins, and
She
he
goes,
doesn't
"No,
make
no, 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 no,
mistakes.
honey. Keep my name out of your mouth, okay?"
God doesn't make mistakes." And yet, could it possibly be that God doesn't want you to do this? Could this could any of this be a sign that this isn't the right lifestyle for you?
Is it possible that you're insignificant and nothing that you do God cares about? Maybe that's another option.
See, that would
That would be
for me,
pushing too hard.
but that would induce the full body heaves that she had when she
Racking,
was
heaving
crying.
sobs.
Yeah.
So, question for you. The was that moment that was filmed that looks like it was filmed on a Nokia flip phone at the very beginning. If any of you, by the way, don't watch this show, Seeking Sister Wife, first of all, you're doing it wrong of this season on TLC. But you should know that just a little bit of backstory here. Garrick and Big Wife, aka Danielle, not cousin Oliver, Danielle, or Danielle, who's 22 from the Davis family. They have been courting Bert for 3.5 years. They slept. When they went to Mexico to meet her. Bert is Brazilian, and when they met her in Mexico, Garrick and Bert made the beast with two backs in the in the room right adjoining with Big Wife. She was not too happy about this, but Bert, con woman as supreme as she is, always made Danielle feel better. Boy, what an artist. I kind of appreciate her now.
Oh, I she is at the top of my con artist pantheon. She has knocked I mean, I will disclose this, and I'm fine with people knowing what a terrible person I am, but I am fascinated particularly by female con artists,
Oh, me
and
too.
I root for all of them. Every single one of them, especially the ones that have, Lifetime movies made about their
Oh,
lives, especially the
Shantae
ones that have.
Kimes,
Yes!
like Sante Kimes. Is it
Yep.
Sante? I believe Sante Kimes, like the little
Yeah.
thing called Murder that Judy Davis did.
With
Oh,
her son
oh,
husband.
that woman. That I would love to meet that woman and tell her good job. I think she's might be dead, but or she's in jail.
Yeah, they always
I
end
think
up.
she was caught.
Yeah, she was. She was. I also have a soft spot for, of course, I can't remember her name now. The one that Gina Gershon played, who was like the Southern
Oh,
belle.
what was her name?
I feel
She
so
had a
bad.
she had a Lifetime movie too.
Yes, and she had another very memorable name that, of course, I can't remember, but she married, for those of you who aren't familiar, or who were normal and didn't watch Lifetime movies throughout your
As a
teenage years.
fundamental part of your growing up.
Exactly. Um, this this gal married a younger gentleman, convinced him to kill his parents, um,
Yes.
which she also, partook in. I won't spoil it because there's a lot of, gruesome details, but, she got away with it for a long
Oh,
time. But
good
yeah,
on
we
you.
we love those characters, and Roberta has knocked each and every one of them off the top of
I
the
know.
evil genius pyramid for me.
The this kind of this like I believe in God, I love you as my sister, and even how she would look at her and hold her hand, because we all believed it. We all believed that Bert was, and y'all, she put on those Linda Fiorentino sunglasses at the end, and with her mother, and then they just went to Wendy's after and
They
had a
sure did.
frosty.
Cut their hair in the gas station bathroom. Never looked back.
That's a dream. If I if I ever did a crime, like a horrible thing, and I need to change my appearance, I'd be dyeing my hair in the gas station bathroom, Scott Peterson style, and just
You guys,
and
if
but
you
Scott Peterson's a piece of shit. But for some reason, I think that women who commit crimes, I like I would say, if I could have, I would have went to law school, but exclusively only to defended women who murdered their husbands, because I would say they must have done something.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially the ones who were slowly poisoned.
Mm, God, poisoning. What a brutal way to murder someone. Ugh.
Yeah,
But
like
it's
that
patient. It's very
again.
patient.
Again, referencing Lifetime, but do you remember that one? Anne Marie Hilly was the one that Judith Light played, and do you remember at
Yes.
the
Oh, that
end?
was a great one.
Yes, that is such a good film, you guys, and she shows up at the end disguised as her own twin sister, who
Oh,
isn't real,
oh,
that she made up, and she has this, like, you guys can't see it, of course, but she has this complete vacant stare, and she, like, slams her hand on the window, and there's thunder and lightning coming down, and then the end credits say, "No one knows what happened to her during the 5 days she spent in the woods."
exactly. No, that's a classic in the genre. Oh, all of the Judith Light performances are just spectacular. I'm pretty sure I don't want to move on, but I actually, for the first time, when I'm telling Maddie, and he's telling me a story about the Circle K in Ardmore, um, I say we need to move on. But just a little bit of recap of plot. Bert sent them a text, a Dear John text, if you will, and uh, she says, and we do see Big Wife racked with sobs, which honestly, to me, I can see this as two different things. I could see this as a recreation of something that happened, or Garrick, when she starts going through the Garrick, mouth agape, blinking, staring, needs his phone to grab it because someone's having an emotional experience. Now, what I did not see from her in this moment is a single tear. We saw that later, but
Right.
maybe when you're so racked with guttural sobs, like you're keening, like some type of animal that's just lost its child,
Yep.
maybe there are no tears.
Greek widow,
Yeah, very
coffin
Medea,
jumping. Yep.
last act of Medea. Yeah.
Yeah, this was pure. Well, another thing that I noticed, not only were there no tears at that point, and it might be because she had read the message over and over and over until it
Yes,
lost any meaning.
that I could see that.
But I understood that Roberta sent a message to Garrick as well.
That was the first message was, "I can't see you again."
Oh, did they actually
And
say that? I must have missed that.
the first message was, "I'm not coming," to Garrick.
And it was just that, because he was
And
completely unemotional.
what's weird is this is someone who has cried little boy tears, who I said, "I drink all of them because it's all ridiculous. I drink all of your beta male tears."
I was literally watching I was ready to be like, "May your joy turn to ashes in your mouth, Garrick." But he
Yes!
didn't cry.
No, he didn't. And that was I think his I think the whole time he's trying to become this like sensitive open wound, and then all of a sudden when he realizes he's been flim-flammed, it turns into like full on misogyny. She's just another slut who wouldn't who because y'all, underneath the background of all, with the exception of the Davises, weirdly, they are the bright spots of this season, and I can't believe it.
Who would have thought?
And but there is most of the time there's a horrible undercurrent of misogyny in polygamy, and and you can see him say, "Well, how could we have been deceived? A woman's charmed. She charmed us. She with her feminine wiles, but with her Brazilian wiles."
She beguiled
It's like I
us
was at
all.
carnival. and there's this weird this you're right. The weirdest thing is when he, who has literally wept like a caroler seeing Christmas Miracle for the first time, with that, as I always say when I talk about him, open mouth, blink, blink, stare. That is exactly when he's looking at her saying something. There's just those eyes. I also thought about this. Do you think when Garrett gets really close to you that he makes these little sounds? Like, mm, 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 mm. I think there has to be little sounds.
I hadn't thought about it before, but I actually wrote down everything he said because I really wanted to see if there were any clues at all into his how he was processing this. And
Yeah.
he said, "Obviously she just doesn't love." And the other
Mm-hmm.
thing I wrote was that when he's having that conversation with Danielle when she's moving her red glitter David Bowie boots
Yes.
uh back into the main bedroom where they belong, um, he kept going, "Uh-huh, hurt, uh-huh, sad,
Yes.
uh-huh, hurt, sad." And yeah, so I think he does I think he does make little noises.
Uh-huh. Uh, mm,
Ugh. I think he
yeah,
does when
if there's I just I saw it start. There's something sometimes I see about some people. I'm like, I bet when they're either intimate or they're really close to you, they're just like, and it's just so creepy. I find him to be. I've said this before. I've been on record. This is kind of like Rick Astley fucked a Hummel figurine and a Christmas Caroler. It's in the middle of something. The slack jawed, circular mouth, the blinking eyes. It's all too. It's way Happy Valley, and it's awful. He truly is one of the most hated one of the men I've hated most that I've ever seen on my television.
he Same. I feel exactly the same way. I also think, and I've said this about a Bravo cast member who we don't have to talk about, but I think Garrick permanently has a yeast infection. He has like those little tiny dots on the tip of his penis.
Just right there.
I think he's got I think it is a what do you call it? Like a feeding the rope scenario?
Rope pull, pushing the rope.
Pushing the
Lot of rope
rope.
pushing.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
there's that, and I think it's thin.
Mm.
Um, I
It
also
is
think
thin.
right?
You can tell I'm so unattracted to him. I have never thought about his penis. I swear to God. Until you just mentioned it, I just went, wait, I've never thought about Garrick's penis ever.
Is it bad
Y'all,
that I
that's
have?
huge, but it's not. It
No,
is
it really
thin. It is thin. Oh
you
my
know what?
God, it's thin.
It's a little bit longer than you would expect, but
It
that's
is,
pointless.
unfortunately, yes.
Yeah, it's
Ugh.
pointless. It's always got a mild, case of candida or
Yeah.
candiditis, and as sadly, as a result, they pass it back and forth because he won't do anything about it.
So
So
true.
I think that was what one thing that put Roberta off, and another, I am thoroughly convinced that this man's breath always stinks.
Oh, like sour milk.
Yes,
It's a
exactly.
little sour milky with like hints of onion. Yeah. No, it's the there's something about the open mouth too that you can almost see a color of the air going in and out of. It's so awful. I one of the things about this show that it gave us is, y'all, there's the hate for Garrick, or as he's referred to as in most of writing about him, ick,
Yes.
uh, is so is voluminous. The internet hate, and it's well
Yeah,
deserved.
it's so well deserved, and that's why I don't mind talking about his itchy pencil dick and his sour milk breath, because you know he's an adult who drinks a full glass of milk at dinner.
100%. Because y'all know I'm freaked out by adults who drink milk at
I
dinner.
am too.
Uh, I'm I understand milk substitutes. Do whatever you want. Full glass of cow's milk at dinner. I'm like, are you going to work in the fields the next day? It is, and there are plenty of people who do that, but there's just something about it. Did you buy the dairy board's suggestions so much so that you cannot get out of them in adulthood? Remember that time where celebrities had milk mustaches and that was a thing?
That was a thing, and now we can go back to all the male celebrities, and have different thoughts about them. I'm in favor of them bringing that campaign back. If Harry Styles wants to do a milk mustache campaign, I will be all over that,
I
and
would, and then he could spit on me like he spit on Chris Pine.
oh.
Y'all, I brought it up in the podcast yesterday, but I don't care if he didn't spit on Chris Pine. I don't care. I just need to picture them on set having their little jokes, their little private jokes, their little shenanigans. And he just grabs on. At one point, Harry Styles just grabs onto Chris Pine's long hair and goes, "I like it, mate. Looks good on you." And then Chris Pine's like, "Thank you, baby." That's how they talk to one another in my dreams. It never
That
gets
is.
sexual in my dreams, strangely. It just gets extremely flirty and romantic.
Because you know that Harry Styles doesn't wear underwear. He's one of those actors
Oh,
who
100%.
you have to
100%.
force him to
He
wear
has never
underwear.
worn underwear.
Nope, never. Not even that's on his
You can
rider
see it
wherever he
all the
goes.
time.
And I am
You can
into
see it
that.
is his dick is a millimeter of fabric away from you. I'm going to have to excuse myself to an interior room after this.
You and me
Anyway,
both.
the verdict is in. He spit on him. And even if he didn't, he spit on him in my heart. And that's all I need to know. I don't need people arguing with me. I don't need people telling me blah blah blah. It's absurd. We
And
we,
I
we
will
say this judgment for the plaintiff, Your Honor.
add to that something else controversial, and don't you dare post photos from your wedding and argue with me, because Harry Styles is the only man under 50 years old who can wear a double-breasted suit jacket and not look like an idiot. I will
Agree.
die
It's a
on this
terrible look for
hill.
most men. It's a
Yep.
terrible look for most men.
If you wanna marry Gordon Gekko, that's, that's your problem. You need to process that. And
I
speaking
love
of
that your
fashion,
references are like mine, at least 35 years old.
I know, I know.
Like
Ah,
me trying to what did I God, I made a Ross Perot reference a couple weeks ago, and some bitch on our Patreon is like, I wasn't even born yet. And I was like, fuck you. That is you so what if you're not born yet? You can read a book. You can read a book and get my references, bitch.
yeah, you can learn about things that happened before your time, and if you're gonna act like that, young lady, I don't wanna hear a Kate Bush lyric coming out of your mouth,
Thank you. Thank you. Oh my God.
okay? Because
Everyone discovering Kate Bush. This is just an old person rant.
this
Excuse me.
is
I got into Kate Bush when some guy I was trying to had a crush on and trying to date told me that she was the best thing ever, and I obsessed over her because I thought he would like me.
this is how I know that we're soul sisters, because you and I have had parallel, like, love lives, and we understand each other on a very, very deep and primal level.
No, it's true. It's true. It's very true. Uh, is there anything more? So we've talked about just some more Garrick and Roberta stuff. I I need to. I said I did write down. I feel like Garrick makes these little sounds. Yes, I really do believe that. Um, and and then the one thing there's like, and then Danielle kind of says, "This doesn't give you doubts along the way. This doesn't give you doubts." And I'm halfway in the mind that she's drank the Kool-Aid because this is becoming just kink now. This is him wanting to fuck other people and her becoming the suffering wife and a little bit of
I
cuck fantasy.
I think that she got immense pleasure from torturing Roberta when Leah was still in
Yes.
the picture before it backfired
Ooh,
spectacularly. I mean, talk about being hoisted by your own petard.
petard, yeah.
Petard? Yeah. Yeah.
Petard, yeah.
I mean, that was a turnaround, a twist that no one expected.
No, that's why this season has been so good. And it I want to ask you about this before we just go on to a little bit. Besides the fact that we'll talk about a little bit about the money, how much that money they gave them. But this season, more than the others, hit it out of the park with casting because to me, it's a level of cringe that's not like Snowden cringe, which we're because I have a theory about cringe and why we like it, but we're okay with cringe as long as we think the people are safe. And
Right.
and we did not think that any of those women were safe with the Snowdens. And I think
No.
that's why. So when the news came out that basically both of them had been basically charged, or there's a lawsuit against both of them, we all went, yeah, I could totally see that. We all had those vibes. And but this season gave us cringe, but everyone felt a little safe. Uh, and everyone was much more clowny, and that's why I think this season took off.
I'm just grateful that they didn't do Carol 2's pregnancy reveal until until much further on
Right.
in the season, because they didn't do that in the beginning. I agree with you completely. There was not a single person whose welfare I feared for deep in my heart. Like with and
Right.
I'm using Cara Berry's brilliant references here, but like with Squeaky and Guyliner, for example, um,
Tasha and Sidian, yeah.
Sidian,
That's
Tasha
great.
Tasha is driving that entire
She
relationship.
is.
She's in charge.
Yeah.
Nothing gets past her, and everything is done. He asks her permission for absolutely everything. And I think that when Ariel
Ariel, yeah.
joins the family, I think that dynamic is definitely going to stay in place. I think Tasha gives me what Mary from Sister Wives' original recipe must have
Yes.
been like when she was a lot younger, before Robin came along.
And before the lesbian biker trend that she's rocking on the promo for the new season. Y'all, she's gone full Danny Zuko, and I'm here for it. I'm here. I still say she just needs to find a nice, lovely female golfer, and it'll be it for her.
I couldn't agree with you more. The minute she gets
Yeah.
the thing that is missing from Mary's life is volunteer work, and the minute she
Mm-hmm.
volunteers at a no-kill shelter, she will find the one. Mark my word.
You're right. And they'll raise huskies.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
she'll be where she's
It'll
meant to be. But
it's gonna totally be a no-kill shelter. It is totally going to be. No,
but
because I was thinking some other charity, and then you said, yeah, it's a shelter. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
because it's all kinds.
I want that for her.
I want that for her too, and I want her entire world open to books that she needs to read, lecture series that she needs to listen to. I cannot wait for her third act, but I also know deep down in my heart that a lot like Danielle Merrifield, that part of Mary's entire driving force that keeps her out of the depths of I'm just going to call it, sorry, trigger warning, suicidal depression, is
I agree.
knowing that she is on Cody's neck for the rest of his life. She has her sensible ankle
She'll
boot,
never leave him.
and she will never leave that situation, not in a million years.
because most because he owes her, and if he would be nothing without Mary, he has
That's
no
absolutely
backbone as a
right.
person.
That's
Yeah,
absolutely right.
it is. That's why Cody Brown is the way he plays the camera kind of makes me sick. But I don't, I hate Cody Brown, but I don't hate him like the way I hate some people because he's a joke. I laugh at him, and because the women, every single woman on that show, he thinks he's the star of that show, but every single woman on that show shines brightly. Not Janelle sometimes. She's got a
Sure.
big lovely face. But uh but Robin is evil and she still shines. She's pure evil. Because y'all know
Robin is
my
pure.
my hate for Robin Brown eclipses most other people.
Robin Brown is shining bright now, but I cannot look at her face without hearing Mary go, "I had a dream. I dreamed it for you, Cody."
Yes. I would love that. And Christine is the queen of all. And I if Christine did a lecture series where she just talked about her life, I would follow her like a fucking groupie
Ugh, me
because I'm
too.
obsessed with her.
if she,
Weirdly,
Chris,
weirdly, when I started watching the series, I was obsessed with her. She was the one who, every time she would say something, it would have this sense of cogentness that no one else was saying in an argument.
she
Ugh,
was the basement wife.
she was, and look where she is now.
It's an ascension that I mean, and I came into that show very, very late. I've only
Me
watched,
too.
the last season and a few bits and pieces before it, highlights, but God, that ascension has been such a joy to watch. Such a joy.
So, let's, even though we're going to talk about Sister Wives, last thing I want to say about Big Wife and Garrick. They did give her $9,800. And then the check cleared. And then she taxes it in. Y'all, you can't script something like that. Oh my God. I screamed.
Right? And one of them, I think this was when her family was over. I wish I had written down who said it, but someone said it sounded legit.
No, that was fucking Garrick.
Oh, was it Garrick?
It sounded legit.
Oh God. They
and
sent her.
Did you notice?
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. No, I just said that I was going to talk about her sister-in-law, and the brother shows up, and I'm glad they showed up, having spent some time sleeping in the woods with the sister-in-law's hair.
Well,
maybe she rolled out of bed. I don't know.
No, I can
It was
tell
very
you what
Nell
that's
Tay in the
from.
wind.
Tay in the wind. She bit her tongue so hard that it fried her hair. That's what happened. Because she was so desperate to say, I fucking told you so.
Right.
I told you this was a terrible idea. And now we're sitting here in the house that tax evasion built.
Yes.
with your two main bedrooms. Stop calling them master bedrooms, you guys.
Nope.
They're the two main bedrooms.
I agree.
Although
it's
Garrick
terrible term.
would have it.
Stop doing it.
We got to get out of that habit, and we can do it together, and we can be a force for good. But they are in that
main
house.
bedroom. It's so easy.
Yep. In that house, she got the news. She bit her tongue so hard it curled her hair. Because
it's really the only option.
They sent her way more money than that. I want to see those Western Union receipts. They maybe sent her that per month.
Yeah.
But that was not a one-off
they sent her a
transfer.
lot of money. They sent her lots and lots of money.
Yeah. She had an allowance for sure.
Oh,
and now she is on a catamaran somewhere in a Lisa Rinna wig and big old glasses with her mother who has dyed her hair red.
Who doesn't have a limp anymore. Guess what? And she's taken a lover, and so has her mother.
/
Luigi.
Sister.
Yes! Yes, that's it. You've solved it. Mother, sister.
Sister, mother.
Y'all.
Or no, now she's going, Jose, another caipirinha, please.
In perfect English.
Because you guys go back to those scenes. Roberta understands English, you guys.
She understands everything. She understands everything.
Yep.
I want to go and if I could find her in Italy or wherever she is on a catamaran, I would say, let me study with you. Teach me. Together, we can defraud even more stupid couples.
You can be her son.
That's a great idea, even though I'm older than her, probably.
Yeah, but that's how charming she is. She'll put you in a little sailor suit, and she'll say, "What?" She'll say, "I don't understand. What are you talking about? He is 16. He is
I'm
only a
like,
boy."
"Hey, pops,
"Daddy, I'm
he's
scared. Can I
16.
sleep in your bed?"
Why, why does he have crow's feet?"
Oh my god.
All right, with that, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back and talk about the Davis wedding. And we're back. Talking about the Davis wedding. So, Michelle, if you had to choose one image from this wedding to kind of when you're down, or just even when you just want to something you can't really figure out, or just something that will stay with you, what would that be?
It will be the image, the wide shot when they panned out and you could see, the families and you could see the altar, and they're dressed in their sort of almost like Grecian themed,
Yes.
gowns, and all I could think was, "This looks like a community theater production of Gospel at Kiwanis where they did not have enough
Yes.
people of color auditioning."
That is niche, and I'm here for it. If
Because
you don't know Gospel Colonus, y'all, that is an entirely black cast. So they had to fill the three because they didn't have enough women. So they just filled in with the two Carols and Cousin Oliver.
yes, because I was half expecting, and again, I know I'm going real niche here, guys, but look it up on YouTube. It's a phenomenal production. It was on PBS, I think, in 1980 something. Morgan Freeman was in it, Felicia
Yeah.
Rashad, just gorgeous, gorgeous production. I half expected Nick's father to stand up and go, "I'm so glad I'm here. There's hope for me in this prophecy." I've been
Taking off his
waiting.
oxygen mask. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. That was honestly the image that came into my head, and I'm gonna keep it
No, no,
very
no.
close to my heart.
I think that's kind of exactly what it was. And it did feel like they just didn't have enough people of color to audition. So they had
Right.
to cast the woman who normally handles costumes, um, and the girl who's dating the lightboard guy.
Yep.
And Jen is just in all of their shows anyway, and doesn't matter. at the at the event space that kind of looks like Ray Dunn meets, I don't know, like a bad antique shop. I kept trying to figure out this event space called like Evolve or something like that.
They're always called Evolve.
Oh, they're so awful.
There is always, a hostess who is dressed for our generation inappropriately for work. Like, she dresses
Yeah,
like Paige from Summer House, like in a matching
always. Yeah.
kinda, they call them coords, I think. She never looks you in the eye, and when you ask about
Never.
booking.
Why would she?
Exactly. And when you ask about booking, for an event and you say, "Oh, it's a baby shower," she'll look at you like you have 3 heads and go,
Mm-hmm.
"Uh-huh, right."
Ugh, another baby shower. One
Exactly.
of I think for me, that moment is when they are backstage in their Grecian inspired, similar but unique dresses. Um, and they're holding hands, I said, they're conjuring something right now. And it was this moment where, like, I think in any other three women, they could have like created an earthquake with the power they had. But these women holding hands actually created enough power to something they were hoping for, which was no wait at the Cheesecake Factory after. And maybe like free Southwestern egg rolls or something. Like that's what they really wanted.
That cake was too small, you guys.
I agree. Thank you. That was too small for how many people were there.
Way too
Come
small.
on. It
Like
was
you can
very it was very very Evelyn and David's idea of only using the cake for the altar party. Ugh.
I didn't appreciate that. I didn't appreciate the anti body positivity representations of the brides on the cake as the
They were
cake
quite thin.
toppers. They were very thin. I am scared to death for that baby. I cannot I don't I can't even begin to think. I know that a lot of mothers co-sleep, right?
Right.
In the bed. Um, is the baby gonna co-sleep with 5 adults in a 12-foot bed?
And when Danielle gets married to another woman, yeah.
Right. Which she's yeah, but I think that the Davises are not people who plan too far ahead. I think
No.
right now they're still enjoying backyard bacchanalia,
Yes. Yeah.
realness.
Yeah,
Uh
backyard bacchanalia realness. Yeah. That's a definite trend.
there is
2023, y'all, it's all about bacchanalia realness.
it
I
it
just
if they're sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Um I also want to talk about the fashion, and we can go one by one through this. The level of now have I'm autistic. I have sensory sensitivities.
Mhm.
So natural fabrics are a big deal for me. I really
Right.
struggle with polyester. How he wore satin on satin on satin and
Oh
didn't
my
burst.
god.
The friction alone from dancing, you would burst into flames. The static.
I thought the sheer force created would have been, and I think also if you leaned up against him, you would just immediately slip off. Like there was no way you could like he was so like Cara Berry says slick Nick. That was true. He was so slick. It was like an oil spill. He was like the Valdez. Oh, that's too
Yeah.
soon. Comedy killer. That's the
He
first Exxon Valdez reference of the podcast. Probably not the last.
I'm surprised. I feel like why hasn't that come up as an analog to like the amount of cum coming out of someone or something like this? This is dirtier than I
Yeah,
can
it
be on
should
my
like the
own
Valdez.
podcast,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Um Also, do you remember, again, this is very, very niche, but do you remember those really hot twins from Breaking Bad who had, like, the snake boots?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. The shoes were, the shoes were a problem for me, and they looked like a less cool version of those
Yeah, agree.
snake boots with the cobra heads.
I think my issue with the shoes has to do with the fact that the shoes he brought out first with his son, I'm like, oh, those are kind of nice. And he's like, no, I think you need more. here's these. And it wasn't a question of you need more. It's like, this is like so ugly. Like, it's not even like, in what world? It was so much jewels. Like, there's no way you could wear those and things wouldn't pop off. Like,
No.
it's just,
And
it's
it
just, it was
infuriated me.
kind of, it was kind of annoying.
It was, and I realized the 3rd time I watched it, 'cause I have watched this 3 times. I'm gonna watch it a 4th time with Robin, 'cause he hasn't
No,
seen it
this
yet.
show invites repeat viewing for
It
episodes. It really
it
does.
really does, because there's some things, if you blink, you'll miss it. Now, one
Mhm.
thing that I have seen, uh, covered quite extensively in, the Sissy Squad are the bouquets. Now listen,
Oh,
um
oh, oh.
not a lot of people can afford to have real flowers at the wedding, and
This is
I
true.
I used, silk flowers for my bridesmaid bouquets at my wedding, and they looked beautiful, and I was
Mhm.
absolutely fine with it. I had fresh flowers for the bouquet and the mother's, corsages, things like that.
Right,
But I didn't wanna spend the money, and I had so many all my friends' kids were my bridesmaids, so there were so many of
right.
them, and they were gonna
Ugh,
end up in the
children.
trash. Ugh.
Yeah.
Well, you remember, you were
They would just
there.
drop them.
They
I
d
was there.
and drop them they did. They all there was a point where it was like the Salem witch trials, and they all just fell on the floor and started writhing around. I didn't know what was happening. That was weird. But anyway, these you can have you can have silk flowers, you can have I had a friend who had paper flowers, like really beautiful
That's kinda
origami
cool.
paper flower bouquets. These were not that, and not only were
They
they
were
were
monstrosities.
they were awful, and it made me
That's the only
angry.
word.
Awful is the only word, you guys. This is a point that can't be argued with. Also, never, ever, and this is another hill I die on. I talk about it in every Married at First Sight recap we do. Not everyone can wear white, ladies and gentlemen. Not
Thank
everyone
you.
can wear white. Particularly if you are wearing a blush gown, don't put white flowers next to it. Don't
I
put
I
black
I was
flowers
wha
next to it.
what did black and white have to do with that wedding at all? This was not
Ni
this there was no color coordination.
This is the thing, it was Nick's suit. They were
Oh, I
thinking
forgot
about
about
matching
that.
Nick. He was black on black on black on black, and maybe he
With a
had a
little
white
bit of
trim.
Sky Masterson, hat. My
He was
time of day is the nighttime.
I think he's more, "Come on, be my baby tonight."
Yeah, it would be
It's
that.
another current reference, you guys. Real world New Orleans, 20 years ago.
Oh, good season. But I that and they kind of looked like, if you remember the character Toad from Mario Kart, like his mushroom head. And there was no, but it was black and white, like a classy Toad, like a monochromatic.
It was a black tie Toad from
Yes,
Mario
black
Kart.
tie. Well, like, what I couldn't get over is, I'm like, I see there's texture. Is it cauliflower? Is it? I see there's some texture, but it looked like almost like someone had taken a big gummy candy. I still don't understand what they were. It hurt my brain thinking about these bouquets.
I think that it was that material that feels like velvet but isn't, that
Yeah.
maybe, like, did you ever play with, another contemporary reference, did you ever play with you probably didn't, but those little, like, Sylvanian families, the little animal families, like, you would
Oh
get, like,
yeah.
little bears and little rabbits. I think it's that texture, but a much cheaper material.
That makes
So
sense.
so again, texturally, you've got the blinding white fake pearls,
Yes.
You've got the blinding white fake velvet and black velvet flowers that they think is doing something, and then again, inexplicably, Carol too, or pregnant Carol,
Yes, with the belly
is
chain.
wearing not just the belly chain,
The crop top! The
the
gold crop
crop
top!
top, where if that is the other thing I couldn't stop thinking about. If the DJ played YMCA, the the
Woo!
whole everyone would get a flash.
That's true. I do need to say, speaking of Carol too, there was one line at the end with the vows, I'm just gonna say it now, that was my biggest laugh of the episode. She's like, "I just what?" Sorry, I need to do Carol two's voice. "Gotta speak slow through your nose. I just wanna bow to you right now, and I can't." For a lot of reasons. I'm 7 months pregnant, and I can't get it. If I go down, I can't get back up. But also, I'm wearing this crop top, and people would see my hooters. Also,
I I
thank you for
I
giving us a little underboob, Carol too. I'm glad we
yes.
saw that.
I want to believe that she was wearing nipple covers. I don't
I
think she was.
seriously doubt it.
That's another
And
thing. And look, I will this is my moment um of saying everyone is beautiful, all bodies are beautiful. Um Danielle has not been acquainted with shapewear of any
yeah,
kind. She actually looked beautiful in that dress. I loved that dress on her. I
it actually
thought
worked on her.
you know why? It was it was made for her skin tone and it was made for her shape.
Mhm.
And she looked gorgeous. She really did. I thought that she looked the best out of all the brides. I mean, it was clearly her night anyway.
It
Now,
was her night, yeah.
I personally, I'm not a fan of a septum ring. I'm not a fan of glasses when it's your wedding, but, you
I
know,
I hesitated to say that because I knew people would scream at me, "I got married in glasses." And I was like, "Great." But
w
take off your
well,
big shiny glasses when you're getting married.
I won't be if for no other reason than particularly when you're filming and there's lights
Thank
around
you.
you. People wanna see your
That's my
eyes.
issues. Camera, and how it looks on camera, and yeah, it's just
Right. And honestly, that's my issue with the lack of shapewear as well, is that when you have very harsh lighting and you're in these
yeah.
situations, it's not about there's a woman. I know I keep referring to Married at First Sight UK and no one's watching it, but there's a lady of size who never wears a bra, never ever ever,
Mhm.
but she dresses according to her body so that she always looks elegant and she always looks like you see her before you see the outfit.
Right.
Whereas a lot of what Danielle has worn, she looks like, as we say in England, she's been dragged through a hedge backwards. The dress is flipped halfway over the head.
That is very descriptive. Okay, Michelle, I think you said that you had written down exactly what our poet Nick's, um, the thinker, the man who thinks all day, had to say about his 3 brides at the wedding. If you would
Yes.
quote, please.
Yes, I'm very happy to quote him, and I'd like to remind all of the listeners that this is a man who, quote, reads books and studies all day. And this is what he came up with for the women in his life. He describes Carol one. What's Carol's real name?
April.
April, thank
I'd
you.
rather not use it.
April. Carol one is regal, royal, and majestic.
Yes.
Danielle looks like a character out of mythology. He has not specified which character out of which mythology. It could be Medusa. Uh,
I was gonna say, or the a manticore, or
right.
some minotaur or satyr. Yeah,
Unclear.
usually when you use usually when you use that expression, it usually means to something fearful. But maybe he's thinking something nice. Yeah,
Yeah, I would hope so. Um,
I think so.
and and finally, Carol 2 or pregnant Carol, the mother of his child,
Jen.
looks like she came out of a lamp ready to grant his wishes.
Oh, yeah. You again. You could not have scripted something that actually makes you want to turn yourself inside out.
Nope.
Um, there's just nothing. Like, I went inside myself as soon as he said "grant my wishes." I just went. I do want to say, for some reason, the belly chain was the least surprising thing about this wedding for me. As soon as they put it on, I was like, of course, we're kind of. The most surprising thing that did not happen, and I said this, I think I said this on Facebook, is that there was no actual blood oath or human sacrifice. Like, her friend Ariel was not sacrificed on an altar, because
No.
with that amulet that Nick holds, it needs some blood.
Well, like I said, I have been worried about that baby ever since I found out about it. And I'm not worried for the baby. I just want to be clear. I am worried that that baby is the coming of end times, that she will be a cruel and
Exactly.
violent, vengeful spirit. She
I
is,
would believe it.
yeah. But you know what? Maybe she'll
It's
change the
definitely a
world for the
girl.
better.
That It's
Oh, it
Vera.
is, yeah.
Vera is her name.
Vera, yeah. I like that
I
name.
I do too. It is one of those names that I I only expect for a woman who's over 60. But I'm
Yes.
kind of okay with it. I think of B. Arthur's character in Mame, Vera. That's really gay. Sorry. Bosom Buddies, who sings "Will always be." Vera, I've been telling you she should try to adjust to your age. Well, if I was my actual age, you'd be dead, or something like that.
Right.
But just a fucking drag queen act. Um, I want to wrap this up with a couple other observations. They When they say we're gonna be with you, Nick, and they all say together, always and
And
always. It does
always.
feel always prophet. It does feel a little creepy. But I kept thinking the whole time, am I happy for them? And I think I kind of am. And I did get a little moved.
I'm
Slightly,
happy
because mostly for Danielle.
I'm happy for them too. I think that if now look, is Danielle gonna spend even a full 18 months with this family? Absolutely not.
I don't think so.
The game changes when a baby comes into play. Not that
Mhm.
babies come into play, but when infants become a
Hike the
factor,
baby.
and
Go long. Catch the baby.
presumably Nick is going to be doing precisely none of the childcare, because I doubt very much
None.
indeed that he's reading anything about caring for an infant, and that he's going to kind of. I think we might have a Kobe Emily scenario there, where he's not going to understand the breast as fuel for the baby, rather than something,
Right.
because we all know that even at this stage, when pregnant Carol gets up to go to the bathroom and turns the faucet on, this is a no flush in the night household for everyone's safety, because he will be right behind her, ready and willing to go.
You're right. He was ready to fuck. It's like when at nighttime, it's like do, 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 do. And you have to be so quiet because if you wake up Nick up in the night, you go get fucked.
Exactly. They are a full on you 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 take a little bit of toilet paper, you put it in the toilet, you pee on the toilet paper, you
Yes.
don't make a sound, you get yourself
No.
right back into bed before he even knows you're gone, because otherwise you're gonna turn around and that penis is gonna be right there to greet you, and it's not going
And you
away.
have to climb over Danielle who's snoring.
Oh
You know
god.
she is, y'all. Oh, that's true. Don't wake Nick up because y'all he gonna fuck ya. He gonna fuck ya.
Yeah. Yeah,
Don't.
he's sneaky.
That
He's
is
got a
so true.
sneaky snake. You don't
Sneaky
even
dick,
know
sneaky snake.
you don't even know, like, he could be one body away from you in the bed fucking you, and you still, the person in between you would know nothing about it. That's how sneaky he
What?
is.
What? You wake up and he's fucking you. I did want to say one last thing about the I think I did not notice it at the wedding. Maybe I just didn't pay attention. But the camera person took great pains to show us during the dance section of what Nick's shoes were, and then they cut in a long shot to Danielle's Tivas.
Oh, boy.
Part of me really wishes Maddie watched this because Maddie despises Tivas. Um, I think it's a good way to I think it's a good way to turn an ankle on the dance floor, personally. But
Uh, I think in her defense, I think part of, like, getting a driver's license in Colorado is showing your
Tivas.
Tivas. You've gotta
Mm-hmm.
have at least 1 pair. So I think that's they might even needed it
Oh my God.
for a marriage license, or for the venue. The venue might have said, "Look, this is an unusual
Only
event. We're
Tivas.
gonna need to see Tivas. We're gonna need to see them."
Need to see your Tivas. Is there anything else about this wedding you want to talk about before we do our wrap up?
Um, I I want to make mention of of William, who is Carol
Yeah, the son.
One's son. I'm really disappointed that
Yes.
we didn't get to hear him play piano. I'm very sad about
I
that.
think we did. He was playing the wedding march.
How did I miss that?
Do, 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 on a
Okay.
keyboard that maximum had 53 keys and not 88.
Oh
And
boy.
now, not to shit on his technique, but I think he was learning from a version that only had 2 voices without the chords. So it's like do, couple fingers at a time, do do. And at one point, this is such a nerdy musical thing. He was having to vamp because they were taking a long time, and so he just kept playing the same measure over and over again. Either that or the editing made it happen. Uh, it could have been the music, the magic of editing, but it seemed like it took them a very long time to get there.
To be fair, he did have to memorize the entire score to Gospel of Colonus. So there was that. We'll have to forgive him.
On a 53 note keyboard. That is
Father.
niche for me. Honestly, the Gospel of Colonus, that is niche for me. There was a production here that about right before the pandemic that won all these awards. It was fantastic. I saw it.
I love that show. Of course, most theater kids will recognize the song that I was about to start butchering from Camp, which came out in 2004. The movie with Anna
Right.
Kendrick and
Anna
yeah,
Kendrick. That's kind of, and a couple others.
Idina
People who were
Menzel was
forgotten
in
really
that.
quickly.
Yeah,
She
except Idina
was,
Menzel. Yeah, that was yeah. Theater kids know.
but Anna
Theater
Kendrick
kids
was the
know.
star. Yeah. Um, shall we do a wrap up? We had two other storylines or three other storylines this season, but they weren't on this last episode.
No, I was
I think let's start.
surprised.
Yeah, well, they kind of wrapped up both storylines the last episode, and I could understand because we needed a full hour for just the Merrifields and this wedding,
Yeah,
so I
we
was
did.
thankful for that.
Yeah, me too.
I think it was interesting that this just for the number of episodes, the sheer number of episodes. This is kind of, no one probably cares about this but me. But the how things are usually greenlit, you always get about 8 episodes your first season, and the second season you're granted 10. And only if you're a hit, like surefire hit, do you get 12 or 13. This had 14 episodes in this season, and that's the ratings were through the roof for
And there
this
was
season of SSW. So
and it
I can
didn't
only
sag.
imagine what 5 will be like. It never
I
sagged.
almost
Never.
I almost hope that they
So
don't touch
what
it.
about? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say I'm so worried that this is such a lightning in a bottle cast, and
Yeah,
I feel
agree.
blessed in so many ways. I feel blessed in all the ways that Danielle Merrifield wants me to feel blessed, because I know that that's a big part of her mission in life is to
I had so much love in my life. I wanted to have other people.
You guys, there is nothing more convincing of your happiness than openly sobbing in front of your children about the almost wife who fucked your husband on family
Yeah,
vacation time and
yeah,
scammed you out of tens of thousands of dollars.
yeah. That's
So
love. That's love.
that's
You
love.
got to
That's
share that love.
gratitude. Yeah. Steve and
So
Brenda.
let's start with, yes, Steve and Brenda, the Foleys. God, I was a little upset we didn't get to see Queen of the show, Jaden,
Oh,
who was just so
love.
wonderful, his daughter, who was just roasting him nonstop. But it seems like they got their house built. April has not settled in yet. I think she's somewhere. I don't know. What do you do when you're 21? Uh, what do 21-year-olds do? They don't move. They don't get in relationships and move into houses
No, this is
with a much older
this
couple.
this is, I'm sorry to say, another repeat offender who never put a bra on. If I cannot imagine, no matter who I'm dating, if I'm meeting their son, and granted, I don't have a
Right.
ton to work with in the Chestal region, but I've got enough that it that a child would notice, and definitely enough that a
Mm-hmm.
teenager would notice if I wasn't wearing a bra.
Right.
This poor woman needs VO5 hot oil treatment. She
Yes.
I'm trying to think of what all I can think is that she dropped out of her sorry, my dog is doing a Coco is sad and screaming and banging on the
Coco's sad.
hopefully Rob I wish you could see his face. Hopefully Robin's gonna take care of that in a minute. Um
Love me.
she
Love me. Make me feel needed.
she that poor girl, whatever communications degree she dropped, so that she could follow, fish around for a year and then
Ugh.
landed in Steve Foley's lap.
In a
I
swinger's paradise. Ugh.
Yeah, I
He's gross to me. I for a while I thought I'd want to bang him, but he's just so gross to me. I can't do it now. It's got a big penis though. I hate to say. Ugh.
No, he definitely does, and it's clean at all times. And he also
Mm-hmm.
doesn't, uh he's circumcised, and it's not the kind of circumcision job that looks all beat up and kinda worn.
No,
You know
it's
how
a pretty
some of the
penis. He's
Yep,
also his pubes are shaven. They're
waxed.
yeah. He's quite shaved down there.
He's not messing around
Yeah.
with a razor. He does back sack and crack.
No, he goes on those business trips. Yeah, he goes on
He's
those
very
business trips,
smooth.
and there is nothing but fucking. Yeah, it's
It's really unfair
so
because,
I don't. Brenda, hopefully next season if they're on it, I doubt Brenda will do it again.
not if she
No, I
has
was just gonna
any
say
sense.
Maybe Brenda gets on Xanax,
You mean more
or
Xanax?
Wellbutrin. Brenda just needs some good. Not yeah. She just needs some good middle of the line, middle of the road antidepressants. Don't go overboard. Maybe some Wellbutrin. I don't know. Put it in her food if you need to be. Need
I
something.
just I just wanna know because Brenda and I are the
That
same
tired
age.
look.
Brenda and I are the same age. Uh, and she looks exhausted.
Shut the fuck up.
No, we are. Brenda and I are the same age.
Wow.
Yeah. She might even be a year younger
Brenda
than
looks
me.
like she's lived 11 lifetimes.
She looks like
Oh my God.
she's got that it's insane to me that she didn't raise those 2 teenagers and that oh, sorry about the doorbell.
Right.
Um,
That's fine. I can barely hear it.
okay, great. Uh, oh, shit. I'm sorry. N That everyone
It's
will
just dogs.
have
It's
heard.
fine.
Okay, alright. Sorry, I
It's
had to shut
fine.
off
That's just dogs
my
barking.
WhatsApp too.
A mere
Um,
inconvenience.
yeah, so Brenda looks like she raised those 2 teenagers and they came out as teenagers, like, that they were never babies. That's the kind of
Yeah,
tired I
and
see
gave
when I
her
look in her
hell.
eyes. Yes. Like, she looks like she has Groundhog Day, but, like, she's had an episiotomy and gone through labor
Right.
with triplets, and that's every day of her life, and that's not a comment on how she
Every
looks or her
single day.
body or anything.
No,
That is just that
it's her
is the l
energy.
Yeah, and it's so God, I feel bad for her. I just want her to go Brenda, please join a book club, go to a wine tasting, go do something that you don't like that's out of your comfort zone. Take an improv class,
Right.
Brenda. Take an improv class. Just
I'm
meet
just now
other
imagining
people.
Brenda in an improv. I don't know. What do I do? What guys, I don't know about this. Does anyone want to be friends? But
She'll bring the
I want to
baby
just say
carrots every
all
week.
she Yeah, exactly. I just need to say, y'all, you don't need a sister wife if you just want a friend. There are plenty of activities you can do to meet other boring women. There are plenty of other activities, a book club, anything. I promise you, there's plenty of Brendas everywhere, Brenda. You can meet them.
Yeah, and Brenda, the fact that you don't think that you can't do better than Steve, because anyone who spends any length of time with him, and I felt very conflicted in the beginning because he's sort of, even though he's not my type at all, he does have that kind of, that actor Jensen Ackles who was in
Yeah, he's got a older Jensen Ackles thing. Yeah,
yeah, he does. He has that this is the Disney
yeah,
prince we're supposed to be attracted to look. By the way, ladies, in the same
just
way
a
that
little off.
Poodle has a talent, has the sight, I can tell whether a man is good at performing oral sex on a woman or not, and the frequency with which he does it. This man has no
Oh, ooh,
idea what
that's a
he's
good
doing.
talent.
Yeah. This one's got no idea what he's doing,
I can see that.
hates it, and has never had to try, and that is why he is dating his high school prom date.
Yes, that's their new wife. Wow.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah, that shows you
Shall
that
we
is
move
where
on
he's
to
stuck.
Sidian and Tosh? Yeah.
Yes. Yes, so
Ugh.
si
Sidian and Tasha, I've got to say, we never I never thought I thought this would just be the failure story we'd be treated to over and over again. Strangely, between Sidian and Tasha and the Davises, we kind of had two success stories. And as I say with a question mark, but I still say, and I think I may have said this on the podcast, watching Sidian talk to Ariel and proposing to Ariel and waking up with her was like the worst version of when Lieutenant Cable sings "Younger Than Springtime" to to in South Pacific to the woman. They wake up together. That's niche. He's like, it's like his skinny, scrawny body with his tattoos. He's like, hey, it's so good. Yours look so pretty in the nighttime. I have to go soon.
But that is not miles away from the actor who played him in the movie, dare I say, in the original movie. Like,
No.
he was a little bit more, he was also slightly on the, effeminate side, that gentleman. Maybe the military softened him.
Yes. Yes. Maybe.
Um
It tends to do that.
It does.
But you agree. I think you agree with me that like you said earlier, Tasha is the kingpin of this,
Yep,
and she's kinky as fuck, and she
yep.
wants to show her. She doesn't give a shit about. She's using this to shock her family. She was always this way. She was always an Avril Lavigne wannabe, and trying to and everything. And Sidian is her kind of pawn to do that. And she scares me a little bit, to be honest. Tasha.
Uh, she absolutely terrifies me. I think that I think she has designs. I don't know what they are.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, uh, Sidian can fuck. I know it doesn't look like it. He'll eat it like a
That's
vulture.
I kind of agree with you. Yeah, I agree
Yeah,
with you. I think his penis is okay at best.
it's
It's
fine.
pretty. I can
It's
tell you
fine.
that.
Yeah.
It's
He
totally
takes good
fine.
care of it.
It's totally fine.
S
You only problem is, yeah, you'd have to listen to him drone on about his life philosophy before he bangs you, though. And if you're anything like me, you're like you just lean over and say, "Let's just get to this."
Yeah,
And
I don't have
that's the way you handle Sidian.
that. You have to tell him to be quiet the way that Tasha does.
Yep,
You
you have
have
to
to
cover his
grab
mouth.
the reason his hair is thinning is because Tasha has pulled it all out while they're having sex.
Yes,
I am dead serious, you
she's
all.
freaky deaky, y'all. She
She
freaky
is,
deaky.
and
Yeah.
she has taught him well. Um, and
Mm-hmm.
yes, He does talk beforehand and after, which is really annoying, but he is singularly focused on
Oh,
your pleasure, ladies. He is
that's a good
singularly
thing.
focused on your pleasure. He will literally not come himself, and he'll roll over and he'll be like, "Oh, it's totally fine. I just want you to feel happy." I'm sorry, I know that's hard to hear for a lot of you. I know that you don't wanna put
I can
yourself
see it.
in that place, but Sidian is very in tune with the women that he's intimate with, and he's very
I
good at
believe
it.
it. I think you're gonna have to excuse yourself to an interior room.
No, not over.
I must say, but not over him. Yeah, it's but I wanna say
No, no.
I think it's a great model of with they have a trans kid, and they moved
Mhm.
somewhere else, so their kid I think they're good people. They're weird. They're weird people,
Yeah.
but they are good people. Tasha definitely wants to drink blood, or something like that. I just hope he doesn't let her get too crazy.
Tasha is Tasha is going to she might even literally find Billy Bob Thornton and become his consort. Like,
She's really in love with him. Yeah.
Tasha wants an insane older man, and she might even not that Billy Bob is insane, I'm just again, thinking back to his relationship with Angelina.
I
Like,
think he's I
Tasha
think he's I think he's pretty quirky.
bit cuckoo, I can totally see another man entering this family dynamic, and,
Me too.
she met him at a bus station. He's got a ponytail, and we don't ask questions about where he came from.
Nope. 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 And later on when one day we don't see him anymore and his relatives don't know where he went either.
Nope, but Tasha's got a
Yep.
necklace made out of
Nope.
teeth.
And with that, let's talk about the Eps. Our final as Cara Berry says, Mr. Peanut. Um I
Yes.
there's a couple of moments where who I said on Cara Berry's podcast definitely has a monkey's paw, because that is the only way these women would ever be with him, or because it defies all logic that these other women like Bina and Janae would even want to be with him, except for the idea of being on television. There's no reason. These other two women, Taryn's got her own issues, but India is a strong woman. What's going on with them? Monkey's paw.
I don't think that I think for India, they I think Peanut and India have a George and Martha relationship. I think that they
Yeah, I get
constantly
that.
cut each other down. I'm talking about again, for those of you who were born after, whenever, I'm talking about Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, where this, um originally in the
Like
film,
1980.
it was it that late?
I guess it was Afraid of Virginia Woolf was filmed in the 60s, wasn't it?
Yeah, so originally it
Maybe the
was
70s.
Elizabeth Taylor and,
Richard Burton.
why am I blanking? Richard Burton, and the whole
Yeah.
play slash film is about, they you could cut the sexual tension with a knife, and they are constantly cutting each
Mhm.
other down, and it's a masterclass in passive aggression and then aggression. Um, and that's what I
Yeah.
see for the 2 of them. I think it's very much almost based on almost like a, and I'm please forgive me if this is a politically incorrect term, but it's a Mexican standoff where they
Mhm.
are staring at each
Just
other.
waiting to see the person to leave, yeah.
Yep, exactly. So that relationship is
And I
never gonna end.
Right. And it's almost yeah, he's not gonna let her go, and she's not she because if she leaves, he wins in a weird
Yep,
way.
exactly.
Taryn is just so comfortable where she is that he could do anything. So it's extreme passivity, but Mr. Peanut is a fucking narcissist. I mean, he's uh, every time he's talking to these women, he's got like lots of clothes on. I don't know if I mentioned this to you. He looks like if you remember the show Passions
Yes.
with
Yeah, you
Tabitha and
did.
her doll Timmy. He looks like Timmy when Timmy would be the doll, and like he's like thrown over in the couch, and he's just like laying on the couch. He looks like a ventriloquist dummy. He's so tiny with his weird kind of limbs that kind of flail about too.
I really think the
Yeah, I'm not a
editors
fan of Mr. Epps.
I I think he is despicable.
Yeah.
And I don't enjoy saying that about a black man on my TV, but he is reprehensible, uh, and
Yeah, it's
disgusting,
gross.
and I don't understand. I mean, the only I've been in some low places in my life, and I have dated some men who, uh, were DJs with funny names. Um, I won't expand on that now, but what I'm saying is, ladies and gentlemen and all folks, I am I was not born a confident woman, and I was made a confident woman, later in life than I
Ooh.
wanted to be, and I dated some real boozers, users, and losers, and
Yes. Preach, girl. Me
there is a
too.
thing that can happen. Yeah. There is a thing that can happen where a man can make you feel, eh there are men who can figure out, uh, what your core weakness and core, shame is and use it to
Mhm.
exploit you. And I
Amen.
think that is something that men can smell on you, and it's not your fault, and it isn't
Right.
anything to be ashamed of when you get deeply involved in this person, but understand that there are men and women out there who will be able to identify what your core shame is and use it against you and keep you trapped. And Mr.
Yep.
Epps, when the cameras aren't on, and sometimes when they are, has that talent. He
Yep.
can immediately, whether someone is underemployed, whether they feel that they are undereducated, whether they're worried about, aging, whether their friends are all getting married and having children,
Mhm.
whether they're not where they want to be in their career, he will find it, exploit it, and use it to manipulate them.
Yep.
And
And
that's
sometimes
what
they're
we're watching.
politicians, which is
Oh,
exactly who
yeah.
he is. Yeah, and so
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I totally agree with you. Someone who in the 90 Day universe who we don't cover anymore is very similar. Um,
Oh,
although a lot
absolutely.
clumsier about it. Um, yeah.
Yep, one and
Uh,
once you see that
Michelle.
mask. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, once you see that mask slip, you will never look at them the same again, and that is what I
Uh huh.
wish for everyone everywhere who's in a relationship like that. Once you see that mask slip
Amen.
and you see it for what it is, leave, get help, um, and don't be ashamed because you can start your life over again anytime. You have
It's never too late.
nothing to be ashamed of. It's never too late. Sorry, I didn't mean to turn that into a public service
No,
announcement, but
have you
I
listened to our
hate men
show?
like that.
Um, no, it's he creeps me out and always have been. Y'all, Michelle, thank you so much for this. Has been this. I feel like I've been expiated with my sister seeking sister wife, uh, a sickness. And now, like one of the Salem witch trials people, I've convulsed on the floor, and now I'm up and I've been expiated, and now ready to accuse someone else of witchcraft later.
I feel the same. I want to thank you for hearing me, for validating me. I want to thank all of you.
Yes.
Please don't be shy with your opinions towards me. Protect Poodle at all costs. But you know,
you can come for me. I don't give a fuck.
Well, if you, I guess what I'm trying to say is if no one in your life is watching this show and you feel you need to process it, if you're having thoughts, if you're waking in the night and wondering how that crop top stayed on, whether she was waving her hands in the air like she just didn't care, whether her father-in-law saw her nipples, if things like that are bothering you and you're waking in the night, please feel free to reach out. And thank you so
Carol
much, Jake, for having me on.
To the Jordages. You're so welcome. I cannot not do Aisha when it's talking about nipples. She's supposed to make us exposed to nipples to the Jordages. What's going to happen? All right. Thank you so much, Michelle. That has been your Seeking Sister Wife Finale Confessions episode. Who knows if there'll be more of these. Team Anyway, thank you, Michelle. It's been a joy. Thank you everyone for listening. Hopefully we'll get a season 5. I'm sure we will. See y'all next time.